Welcome, fellow travelers. I'm Nyce Gaming, and I'm joining Chibi and Vertec at the Golden Feather. Come on in, grab a seat, and let's share tales of adventure.
Hello, and welcome to the Golden Feather Tavern, where your hosts, Chibi and Vertec, discuss Ashes of Creation and important topics spoken about within the Ashes community. Every week, we invite you, the viewer, and a special guest to pull up a chair, grab a pint, and join the conversation with us. Today is the 6th of October, 2024, and we're on episode 182, Some Nice Events. And I'm going to see if we can get this portal summon to work correctly today and summon our traveling bard, Nyce Gaming. Oh. Ah, there he is. The portal summon worked.
Right.
How are you today, friend?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Oh, fantastic,
TGIF.
fantastic. Indeed,
Yes.
indeed.
TJF, absolutely.
And the other lovely face here, over there, hanging out with her alchemical potion rack, is the lovely Chibi. And how was your day, Chibi?
My day was pretty good, especially because I got a lot done with work, and then I got to do some devious planning that you and I know about for this channel, and get a bunch of stuff ready for Nyce to join us today. So I'm having a pretty good day.
Nice.
Yeah. Been a good day productivity wise for me, but as far as what the productivity was in, I'm not so happy about. It's been a crazy day with work, so I'm taking on the night job here at the tavern and having some fun. But speaking of fun, Sir Nyce, I hear you do fun things. What kind of fun things do you do, and why do you do them?
I just game. Just pretty much, I just love playing online games. I love playing PvP, playing with friends. Really what I like about MMOs, honestly. So that's pretty much my go-to fun activity these days. So yeah, that's probably my go-to fun thing to do right now.
Nice. There you go. Well, when you're doing the gamey streaming and putting stuff up on the videos, want to tell everybody a little bit about what type of things you like to do, what brought you to do it, and any other random details you feel like explaining. Let the people get to know you a little bit.
All right, so let's see. I started off primarily as strictly an Elder Scrolls Online content creator. Love that game, really fun MMO. That's pretty much where me and my community started. Eventually start playing other games as well. Currently playing both the Elder Scrolls Online and the New World MMO as well. And Ashes of Creation, I mean, pretty much both of those things are just occupying me. I'm just sitting in Ashes of Creation's waiting room at this point. Obviously having fun still, but really excited for Ashes of Creation. So yeah, but that's pretty much what I try to cover on my content, on my channel for the most part. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's us too, sitting in that waiting room.
Yeah, pretty much. I just imagine a giant room with a bunch of the content creators and a lot of the fans that are waiting for Alpha 2 to come out. Just like, come on, just waiting for that news.
Yeah, just sitting there looking at the watch. It's like, all right, how long are we going to be here?
Exactly. You were talking about a podcast. I know of your YouTube videos, and some people here might know of your YouTube videos. Can you iterate a little bit more on your podcast?
Yes, so I stream with a buddy of mine. Is There No One Else? He does Ashes of Creation content as well. We stream on he streams on Twitch. I stream on YouTube, and that's pretty much where you can find the podcast. So YouTube, as soon as we're done streaming it, it's technically uploaded as a VOD, if you will. Nice. And we just like it's called The Voices of Vera, and it's a really good time. We try to basically, instead of just something that inspired me to do it is sometimes I'll listen to certain podcasts, whether that be Ashes of Creation or not, and it's just like the person is like, how do I say this politely? They're on a pedestal and they're like talking down to everyone, like saying, hey, I know this. No, you don't want this. You think you want this. This is how Ashes of Creation needs to do it. You're wrong. I'm right. And and to me, I wanted to do more of a community vibe, like have discussions. Everyone should and is entitled to their opinion, but I want to do something like, well, it's kind of in the title, the voices of air, like where we get to hear different perspectives from all around the community. So obviously,
Nice.
Taking forum post, God forbid Reddit post, and sometimes we can go on a 40-minute tangent just from comment in chat, and like not even hardcore debating, but just discussing and like seeing both sides of the table, or just predicting things, theorizing, theory crafting, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah.
It's
That makes
nice.
sense.
All right, so we're kind of all on the same page as far as the kind of content we like to put out there. I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I love
then
visiting the tavern.
we
grab
do
myself
appreciate
a
every time you
drink.
stop by.
Yes.
You know what? I have one right over here. I gotta grab it.
Cheers.
All right, I got it. Cheers indeed. So, and we've talked a bunch about Ashes, and we're loving it, and we're waiting for it. But what, if you could say, what was the one bit of information, or the one thing you saw that when you said that you're like, finally, okay, that's the straw right there, I'm in.
So I think I'm pretty basic in the sense that I got roped in. I think a lot of people got roped in. I think it was one of Lazy Peon's videos. Like when it was even on my radar. Like I heard about it, but you hear something like Kickstarter, you're like, I'll wait till this is a little bit more real,
Yeah.
and then listen to the details of the game, and that just got me on this huge research vibe. And there's different things that really kept me sticking around, and that was that I feel like I played games where you're doing something just for the sake of doing it, or was because it was a forced system, and there wasn't too much challenge, too much risk. And the fact that everything has meaning, and the risk versus reward, and that I could just be out chopping wood, being a lumberjack, because that's the artisan tree I chose, and the fact that there's even risk involved with that. Like I do that on another game, go pick flowers to go because I need to craft some, it's the materials I need for my potion. It's like, I feel like I'm doing busy work or a chore, which, sometimes that's not the worst thing. Some people like doing that, just gathering, whatever. But to me, in Ashes of Creation, I feel like that's what I'm going to get into. Like even something as previously thought to be meaningless or not as fulfilling is going to be fulfilling to me, because like, wow, I could, at any moment someone can come like gank me and take all these mats I've been working hard to gather, and I need to sell this because I need gold, or stuff like that. I don't know, that's just one aspect, but that's one of those key things. And obviously Steven and his vision, like, I mean, everything he says, you could tell he's like a real MMO gamer. He's not like, you can tell he went through what I'm going through, like not being happy with maybe the state of current MMOs, the genre in general, I guess. But you can tell it's a gamer, not like some corporate, like how do we make the most money out of this,
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the summary, I suppose.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really good points that you hear quite often, because I don't think people outside the industry really understand how much that matters. It's like if you go to buy a car and the person who's designing it, making it, manufacturing it doesn't even like cars.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do a decent job with it, or they're just going to put 4 wheels in a box and say, all right, I mean, it's going to run for enough time, I guess.
Right.
They'll get a good 5 years out of this. It's good.
Right. I want the car salesman that was sold the most crappy used car before and had to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I want to buy from, and wants to make sure no one else goes through that.
Right.
Exactly. So, if you could, speaking of Steven, if you could ask him one question, any one question, Ashes related or not.
Ooh,
It probably would end up being Ashes related just because of context, but
yeah.
what would it end up being?
That is a great one. I feel like I should have these like ready to go.
Have the elevator speech card just sitting in your back pocket all the time.
I do have like, you know what's funny? I actually do have a list of like questions I would ask. But I'll choose one not Ashes related.
Okay.
I'll choose one not Ashes related. Let me think on this. I didn't. That's a good question. I didn't expect it. So, you know what? I got one. Kind of Ashes related, I guess you can say. But my question would be, what is the biggest challenge that Intrepid has faced as far as what they had to overcome since starting development? I and maybe break that down to what was the biggest challenge in the last year, like whether that's something like in the background, like, oh, there was 2 months where we just couldn't get the servers, the online connection to work between players, or this wouldn't work, or the studio had a gas leak. I don't know. what was the toughest thing to overcome, becoming a game developer and getting this project going?
Because of all the timing, I'm pretty sure the answer would almost realistically be COVID.
That's true. Yeah.
At this point. But we'll qualify that with aside from COVID difficulties.
There we go.
We go. Yeah. Did you have anything else to ask?
I asked a whole bunch, so I wanted to give you some space in case you had a question.
Well,
I was thinking about some random stuff.
Okay. I asked about the podcast, but I did not get a chance yet to ask. What is one thing that you would want another content creator or somebody joining the Ashes of Creation community to know if they were to come across your video or this video today?
The link, how to find the link to the wiki.
That's fair. That is actually one of the things that we use very, very often, and I actually have it ready to go for a topic we're going to cover later. So nice. I'm very grateful that Lex is out there. Putting that out there.
Especially because times I'll be editing a video and I know I heard this somewhere, and instead of just talking about it, I want to provide that clip of Steven saying something or something like that. I can type in, I know this was somewhere, so I'll type in the subject matter or keyword and yep, there it is. And there's the video he said it in, and I could just snip it from that. And that's amazing to have years and years of every word that Steven has uttered recorded in history.
Yeah.
Ooh, and real quick, by the way, I wanted to get it out there because we did see it. Svetlana Grayling, thank you for the follow, by the way.
Yes, thank you very much.
And welcome in, by the way, Slurp. So the wiki, you know what, we got to get Lex to, he has a Discord bot, but he doesn't have a streamer bot. We need to get a streamer bot so we can start popping wiki questions into the chat.
There you go. There you go.
All right, there we go. All right, so here you go. Here's a meaty one for you. So we're about to close out 2023 here relatively soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, including the event stuff that you saw there, what do you think has been the best reveal as far as just overall game design this year?
Ooh, from this year?
Yeah, this year specifically. Yeah, we don't want to go too far back because I lose track of every year when things happened. You could ask me about 2022 and I would say, what happened in 2022? I forget.
True. From this year, let's see, we started off with what was that, the tank first month?
I think so, yeah. I remember feeling a little exhausted of that conversation because there was the tank and then they fixed the tank video.
Yeah, that was something.
Or even honestly, I guess the biggest thing that sticks out in your mind just in general.
I'll keep it simple. The biggest reveal gameplay wise for me was perhaps I think the one that gave me the biggest sigh of relief, or I was happy to see, was weirdly enough the World Boss stream with Tumak. And the reason I say that is because there was a drought in the sense that we had not, the showcases, obviously we know it's an MMO, but to me, this is just me speaking for me, the game, we hadn't seen too much of the MMO aspect, which is obviously fine because they got like 3 to 4 devs showing off. They're going through Carfin Tower, they're doing this. They can't just have 100 people in the background just for our sake. But the reason I like that part is because there were so many people on screen, and before that point, we hadn't seen that many people on screen together since Alpha 1, like Alpha 1 videos, like maybe the Alpha 1 Siege video. I don't know, but that was the first time we got more than 4 people on screen this year, if I remember correctly. I want to say 4. It could be 5, but I want to say 4. But seeing, because seeing Steven, then he had his group. I was like, okay, it's gonna be like that many people. And then that moment when the second group came like running up the hill, I was like, what? Like I was like, okay, like that was impressive, because then it reminded you how like obviously we know it's an MMO, like I said, but it reminded you of like, wow, like this is happening. Like it felt real, like look at this large group instead of just a controlled environment of 2 to 3 people. Like and obviously seeing Tumok go through a pretty large distance, that helped. And it was just I just thought that was the biggest awakening, I guess, seeing that.
Yeah,
that was
I could see that.
A favorite of mine too, seeing all the mechanics going through. Like you can still tell it's a work in progress, right? Like it wasn't like a perfect scene, but just watching that happen and watching the mechanics of interacting with the environment and everything was actually really cool. That's one of the biggest things I was excited about from the moment they said it is environmental interactions with world bosses. What? No way. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. And to think that was just a basic, like early game, probably first boss, like it's going to be pretty cool to see what else we're going to see in Alpha 2 even.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, well, I will go ahead and give us a stream overview for those that are joining now that we've gotten to know our awesome guest a little bit. We'll be talking tonight about the event showcase that was recently streamed over on Ashes of Creations Twitch account, and you can find it now on their YouTube as well. We'll also be talking about class mechanics and world bosses, and finally some quality of life random topics from the community. Since you're our guest, Nyce, we always like to let the guest lead. Are there any topics from those 3 that you are interested in covering first?
I guess let's do the event showcase just overall.
Okay.
Yeah,
that works. Speaking of the event showcase, I had a different question for you, but I was saving it just for this segue. What did you think about the event showcase? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
I liked it. I thought it was just okay. Like I wasn't like, oh my gosh, did you guys see this? Like I liked it. It was a good stream. Just overall, and honestly, I think I subverted expectations. I think that might have helped. So yeah, it was about what I expected. Just a normal world event. It didn't look too different from the way other games do it. We got details on how it is different, but as far as like what I saw, like crash caravan, protect the people, waves of enemies come in. It was a pretty basic world event, and I think that's what they were showing, just a basic world event, and I think they got that across. So yeah, it was just average. Yeah. I gave it I think a 7, maybe a 6. You could argue, but I think a 7 is fair. That's fair.
Mr. Michi Bio also agrees with you. And this is a post from Reddit. Says, the last showcase was pretty dull, yet I still loved it. And the TLDR of that is not every feature in Ashes needs to be unique or completely flip the switch on how it's designed compared to other MMOs.
Yes.
But this person, Mr. Michi Bio, says that they saw a lot of negative feedback about the last showcase. But for them, it was the first one where they weren't super hyped to sit down and watch. But it's still like, because events are rarely the main focus of game time for some people, and especially in this person's case, it ends up being kind of more like a filler or just extra group content. But for me, I personally really liked it because while yes, it's similar to other games, the way that it's unique from other games that I kind of experienced, and this is from playing games like Guild Wars 2 and Final Fantasy 14, where like the event, it feels kind of like a bubble, where you do the event and it has nothing to do with anything else nearby for the most part.
Yeah.
Except for if the event has to do with something nearby, like a quest that you have to like walk somebody from point A to point B as an event.
Yeah.
But Ashes, I felt like they at least did it differently, where it does tie in, and I brought this up last week in terms of a TTRPG standpoint as a DM for D&D and Pathfinder previously. I like the hook thing because it's like, hey, your players completely were like disinterested in this hook initially, but now they've wandered off, and then there's this other side quest event thing that happens that gets them back on track with the main hook, which is what it sounds like they were trying to do with that. And so I found that really interesting because, again, before I let Vertek go, sorry. Again, Ashes is based off of a Pathfinder homebrew campaign that Steven had. So I'm seeing some of these TTRPG tendencies kind of soaking in. Vertek?
Yeah, it's good stuff. See, if we were rating it strictly on the event complexity, quality, like wow, amazing factor, I would probably say kind of the same thing. Me personally, I'm gonna say I loved it because of the implications it can have for everything else. Like this was definitely one of the more like basic and kind of straightforward feeling events, I guess. But just the fact that it will be dynamic, it will be they will have relation to the world. Maybe not every time. I suppose they don't always need to have a relation to the world. It could just be a roving bandit squad that just takes whatever they can anywhere. But
like your goal.
but it totally can, and they're planning that and trying to make that happen a lot. And the fact that it's dynamically scaling in difficulty and reward tiers and everything like that, all of that says a lot for how far things can go. And I'm perfectly okay with them starting with, you know, a basic straightforward event that's not too complicated, it's not too crazy, just to show off the fact that, hey, we're gonna do this thing. Hey people, look at these things, these objectives on the side that we have to do. We have this much time. Keep that alive, keep these people alive, and kill all of those guys.
Right.
Yay, let's go kill some people. Oh, look, there's more people joining us. Awesome. Oh, wait, it just got harder. And I think that was really cool. They were showing off like a whole bunch of different little stages of it. And me, honestly, I was looking at it going, you know, this shows promise for some good stuff. Like,
yes.
Yeah, I agree.
We probably haven't even seen the full potential. This is like the Tumac of world events, probably, like where they're just kind of show something basic, kind of get your foot in the door, and don't want to spoil too much for Alpha 2.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I agree with the original poster on the point they made that everything doesn't have to be done so different. They don't have to overly make things complex or too intricate. You know, they can just take something from another game and not just make it a crazy new system never before seen, and that's fair. One thing, I mean, it is, but the thing is, the world events, yes, we saw a basic one, but the way they do them and how it actually affects the environment and the world is pretty damn different.
Yeah. There's also
And,
something to be said about if everything is different, then nothing is different. If everything's unique, nothing's unique kind of idea.
That is
but
true.
It's more like in the term of like everything is so overkill because it's so unique from everything else kind of thing.
Yeah. It's good to have a comfy place, you know, like if you're coming from different, and I sometimes I forget that, but sometimes people coming from another MMO want to like, oh, this is just like blah, blah, blah. They want
there's a relation there.
Yeah, they don't want to have a guide for everything in Vera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like something has to be easily recognizable and dive in and just their familiarity. There needs to be some familiarity there.
Yeah. Zalexia says another comment they made was that the showcase are also supposed to be bringing feedback. So I think it's important too. I enjoyed the showcase and I'm excited to see another way they'll keep the world interesting and dynamic. And I think that's a really good point as well. It's one of those kind of like spice of life kind of things where it's one of those you can be a part of it if you want to. but you don't have to necessarily join it if you're not feeling like it. It's not something you're like shoehorned into necessarily. But it's also, I like that they have planned different types of events. Additionally, Zalexia says, I think it's nice to just see the progress they've made too. It might not be groundbreaking, but it's here and it works. I love seeing the game grow. And I feel the same because, you know, everybody's like, let's see gameplay, let's see gameplay, let's see gameplay. And I mean, honestly, it's things like this where I think that the game might be further along than they let on sometimes, because you may not be showing all of these things, but it's been worked on. But I don't know. I'm just very excited because there's also something to be said about, while yes, this is going to be a harder game, you also want there to be enough similarity to other things to draw people in so that they have an idea of what's going on. And well, you had a really good point for that.
Well said.
So.
Something that excited me the most as far as everything they showed was just the PV, like just the being able to choose sides for some of the world events. Like that is, to me, that was amazingly cool. Like that's something. I'm not saying, oh, no game in history ever done it. To my knowledge, I personally haven't seen it, or it's something I never even thought of. Like I just think that's going to be very interesting. And I imagine this is the case. I don't have a wiki link to prove it, but I'd imagine that would make that world event a corruption-free zone, the same way like a Node Siege or something like that would be. I would imagine you wouldn't get corrupted for choosing a side in a world event. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious because it is an objective, actually. So I imagine that wouldn't be a thing, but just that being a risk there, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. I absolutely agree with that. I think I've seen the choosing sides for battlegrounds, which are not open world, you know, but not for an event. Slurp says, "Oh, let me grab that actually." Got it. Welcome, hi, Phoenix. Slurp says the attempt was to show how we plan to take a familiar concept to MMO players and aligned it with one of the Ash's core design tenets of creating a truly dynamic world, and I think that absolutely came through.
And that's something I was going to comment about Zalexia's first statement there, that you know, the showcases are there to generate some feedback. So if they were to develop this giant, complex, brand new, never before seen type of thing, and they get a bunch of feedback that they say, okay, yeah, you know what, that's good feedback, we like that, let's go ahead and make some changes. It's a lot easier to do when you're not, you know, coordinating this giant thing on the screen, you know.
You don't want to work on the big dragon world event with all these intricate details, and then everybody like, yeah, we didn't like that, how about you do it this way? And the designer's just like, really, you couldn't tell me that a month ago, because that's how long this took. But yeah, I also, as a content creator, I definitely like the second comment Alexia said about it. It's something, it's working, it's functional, it's a new thing that they haven't shown off yet.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be something that they can put kind of in the timeline of, this is where we were at this time, and this is how it was. And then, you know, down the line, something else comes up and is displayed up on screen as a different event. Okay, well now look where we're at. Look at what we've done with it now. So I think that'd be a good feeling even for the developers to have something like that out there. Yeah. They often talk about this, like, basically video diary that they keep, how they record all their meetings, and once this launches they want to be able to like look back and have like what sounds to me like a whole development diary or development documentary, which that's pretty cool. It makes me think of hell, I didn't even watch it myself, I don't know if you guys did, but like Michael Jordan's The Last Dance, how like they had people like following him around for all the basketball games, and it just came out as a documentary I think a couple years ago. Like being able to document those kind of things, like I think that's gonna be really good for them.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I kind of agree with Phoenix's statement here. Phoenix says, I think that's why they're holding out so long on Alpha 2. They got some rough feedback from the casual masses on Alpha 1 and wanted to show a pile of growth for Alpha 2. And I mean, combat is something that we've seen kind of adjust over time. But before I pivot, I will take Zalexia's pivot because we are community based.
Indeed.
So Alexia says, a bit of a pivot, but one thing I really liked about events is that they make traveling interesting. You might have traveled a path 100 times, but you still have to keep on your toes because there are things you can stumble upon. And I like that. It's that exploration. The exploration person inside of me is like, okay, but like I have to go this way because what if I miss something?
Yeah.
And you know what that also brings to mind is, and every single time something like this comes around, I always think of this, like how many times are you going to have a friend tell you of something they ran into that it's going to take you 6 months to even like randomly stumble into that or like come into a situation like that?
Yeah.
True.
Because it's not going to be like predictable and always there. It's going to be dependent on how things are progressing, where each node's at, where each, like how many, who knows how many bears they've killed or trees they've chopped or whatever the trigger is.
That's crazy. But and they said like there's gonna be some events that happen just one time. Can you imagine the FOMO setting in? Your friend tells like I was doing my normal harvesting. I was trying to harvest some berries like I do the same route I took every day. Would you believe a freaking dragon came down and look at this unique sword that it dropped? You'd be so salty. You'd be happy for them, but so salty.
Meanwhile, somebody else is on the other side of the world with like all Discord notifications turned off, their guild chat turned off, watching like One Piece or something, trying to catch up and just chopping trees and like crafting through the whole entire thing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And going the other pivot, which is the combat pivot. This is from Mr. Mendingo93, who's basically talking about the time to kill, and they're worried that it seems a little bit high in the most recent live streams. But the thing I want to highlight is the first response there, which is ILY 112, who says several reasons why it's not something I'm worried about. Number one, intended time to kill is 30 seconds to 1 minute for PvP, and that's the only TTK that has been mentioned yet. Number two, players in these updates are developers whose main goal is to show off a specific feature, have a discussion, and deliver on talking points. They are not focusing on playing, nor are they necessarily playing their preferred role or class. Number three, their skills may not be quote-unquote upgraded, utilizing any potential skill trait, nor even selected for proper DPS. Work in progress skills were shown in the hotbar in a couple updates. So it's a fact that even level 15 skills aren't all ready for use. And
I love all those counterpoints that person just made.
Yeah. Number four is their gear is probably very average. Players will probably have better gear at that level just by the sheer fact that players will be tryharding versus just putting on something that has been shown previously in a development update and then look, it's in game, I can wear it now kind of thing. Number five is only really 4 classes are ever there, possibly limiting better synergies, skill combos for better DPS, etc. And the most important is a chunk of text, which doesn't really have a TLDR. But I think just based off of those, I think that those are all good things. And my biggest thing that I personally would add is TTK for Ashes is going to be very different for TTK from other games. Yeah. Because it's a harder core game by development. Look at Dark Souls versus Legend of Zelda.
You're right.
I mean, I've never played Dark Souls.
I was an Elden Ring main for a long time. And when I hear, I put it this way, I want a high TTK or wherever it looks like, basically what it looks like in its current form. I want mobs to have like a high TTK. I don't want to just be one shot and everything. I want everything to still have the threat of possibly killing me if I get too comfortable. Yeah. Or I know they're level 15 and I think the mobs are about the same appropriate level. Like I want level to level combat at least that kind of combat to have a decent TTK. It should be different from other games, and I think you should have to respect every mob. I do not like playing the Elder Scrolls Online, the Overland content, as far as like, just out in the normal world, no instance-based dungeon. I can just wear my PvP gear and just like, it's like, why are you even attacking me? Just two-shot it and it can go. There's no difficulty. It dies so quick and it's just not meaningful or fun gameplay because I know that thing's not a threat. I can literally just go AFK, grab a drink, come back, and that thing attacks so slow, does such minimal damage that it's just like that's not as fun to me. And also it encourages group play. If there's high TTK, think about the tank stream. Like they had to roll together. Like notice they didn't do too many huge pulls. It was like, all right, we're all going to get on these two right here, this one, this two, maybe three, and they needed to was that area around Carfin? I think it was like right outside of Carfin or something. But like they needed to like stick together for that content. Like maybe someone can go solo over there, but they're going to be spending a while on each mob, because looking at how long it took just for them to kill those things together. Yeah, it encourages group play, and I think that's a great reason to have a high TTK.
Yeah,
see, I'm bigger on the, as long as the experience matches the amount of time they expect me to spend on a level, and it's reasonable. I could care less if it takes me 5 minutes to kill a mob.
Yes.
Like that I would feel, if anything, might be a more engaging combat, if anything else, because you actually have to plan stuff and try to shortcut every way you can to get the most little extra stab here, the extra dodge there, just to make sure that, you know, over that 5 minutes you're gonna whittle down like a minute of it or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know that's an extreme case, but just saying, if it's longer, I'm okay with it. It's longer for me to engage my skills and see what I can do.
Yeah. We don't want to spend 2 minutes on a mob and get 5 XP. Like, well, this isn't really relative. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I take my comment back.
Right. Alexia says, I think this game will be amazing for people like myself who like to wonder and explore. The events mean that there's always something cool to stumble upon, and the fact that the world develops and changes means that there is always going to be something new to find and do, especially because those changes are based off of player action. And I really like that. And that takes me over to our next topic subjects, which is talking about world quote unquote epic bosses. And this is one that is also from Reddit, from Lincoln, and they were asking if there were going to be epic bosses. I kind of just wanted to bring this here just to talk about, because you brought up Tumak, right? So that, like, yes, there's going to be these giant bosses that might come and go depending on the way that you interact with the world and what you do with the world. I just really like that. I think that's unique. I think my biggest thing when I'm DMing a TTRPG is making the world feel alive, and this definitely makes the world feel alive.
Agreed. I think also, and I don't expect every world boss to be this way, but they are roaming world bosses.
Yes.
There's not just a spot where like, hey, this spawns every 20 minutes in this cave, wait for it, and then as soon as it spawns, all 20 of you nuke it down. Like, this guy's walking through the world. He's knocking down trees in his wake. Like, that is so different, and it's so cool. Some MMOs have had mobile / roaming world bosses, but like, I've never seen it done like that. Like, I think it's the knocking down of the trees, like making it really feel like I don't know. It just felt so good, so immersive, like just really amazing. Something they spoke on and kind of addressed already, but still a concern, not a concern. What's the word? I guess I'll say a hope of mine is that players aren't able to just narrow down the spawn timer. I hope there's some sort of, I don't want to use the term AI, but some sort of true RNG or variable to where it's not every 30 minutes. It's not every 20 minutes. Like, it's real, like players really won't be able to like have a website so they can pull up like, oh, this boss spawns in blah, blah, blah. Let me go farm that.
Right.
And then the players are like, as soon as Tumak stands up, there's 30 guys just nuking him in 5 seconds. Yeah. So I really hope they get that right. So you can't really predict where he spawns. Any world boss for that matter.
Well, I also really like it because one of the first key points, and I put out the world boss link there in the chat, says bosses may be also spawned based on predicates that can be met at any time, such as when a story arc or an event begins somewhere in the world. And I like that there are so many things that are riding on the way that the player plays
Yeah.
as either an individual or a group. And by individual, I mean in terms of like the event that they showcase being the two nodes agreeing to be partners or something like that. But
feeling like your actions have meaning.
yeah, exactly.
That's
on
a
this
big deal.
topic of world bosses, I just wanted to show this. Vertex gonna put it up on the screen in a second, but there's this Drake at the Canopy sculpture that somebody made. I really liked it. It's really cute. I've tried doing clay before. I'm not very good at clay. That takes a very long time. So the fact that they made that is really, really awesome.
Oh wow! I see.
Right? Phoenix says, I do like the idea of there being a range or randomness. And also that the triggers can be timed after a while. And I'm sure that they can be. I think there's not going to be any 100% way of doing randomness in an MMO. But
yeah, that sounds like it'll be. That sounds like tough technology to implement.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm playing New World right now, and the expansion just dropped, and like there's new items to farm, and there's just like, I kid you not, like 20 people hovered around one boss's spawn, and they're like, oh, it's coming in 15 seconds. I'm like, oh, well, that to me kind of takes the fun out of it. I remember playing Diablo 4, and like, man, the wiki or whatever it was, like had that thing like countdowns for every boss, like, so you could just go meet up there. So I don't know. I hope for it, but yeah, I think you're right. Like, it's gonna be really tough to implement. Yeah.
Spawns within this 1 hour. Yeah, spawns within this 1 hour period. Yeah.
I like that.
So maybe now in 10 minutes, maybe in 45. Yeah, I think like that adds enough of a variety. Like, honestly, if you told me 45, I'd start going to do something. And then if it just randomly appeared out of nowhere while I like got my mind off of it, it would still take me by surprise, I'm sure. But as Alexia says, I like the idea of a lack of activity being a trigger. So like an area is peaceful, so it triggers something powerful to spawn or move in, giving people a reason to go explore quiet areas because there might be a boss there.
Ooh, I like that, because it keeps like starter areas or areas that don't really have a big attraction from becoming like old content. I'm sure we've all played a game where there's like a section of the map or something you just never really have a reason to go back there. And so I think lack of activity spawning something new or a unique world event, or how I think they already have this in place, obviously, but like how do I say this? Like, if a thing goes unchecked, something will spawn. So like if there's like a world event that occasionally happens where like the goblins from the forest invade some local Vex, you know, and that's a world event, and if someone doesn't like protect that village or whatever, that Vex village, like 3 times in a row, obviously that meaning inactivity. If that happens, some big they just take over that area, and then now there's a goblin boss over there that you gotta, because they moved into where the Vex villagers once were. I think stuff like that could really make a world feel alive.
Oh yeah, I could see that as well. And then there's the dragon sculpture. I really like it.
Yeah. Well, I think I said a paper clay sculpt. It's bananas.
Yeah.
People with art skills make me jealous, but I'm so happy they exist because I can't do it, so somebody needs to.
That's too cool.
Yeah, no, I always like looking at people's art. Okay, so the other 2 in this section are optional, but we could also totally go to the QOL stuff, the quality of life things. Music.
Yes. Oh,
what music?
Down in the random topic area when we get to that area? Yeah.
We can get to that area. That's what I'm calling the quality of life area.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so if we're ready to jump into that, let me tell you how excited I was. I think so many other people possibly just kind of mentally skipped over that because there were like meaty questions being asked and things being spoken about, but there was a question about how the the music director and Bear McCreary were working on things like, well, how are they going to adjust sound? Because most games, people are used to having like an iconic sound for a certain like capital city and stuff. They walk into a city and like that city's music starts playing, so they know they're there. Mm-hmm. Like, are you guys planning on doing that? How are you going to accomplish that with so many varieties of different biomes and racial structure, archetype, or architecture rather, and all that? And the response was basically layering the music. And there's going to be a layer with certain voices, and in musical terms, voices could be any instrument or a legitimate actual like human voice. So a different layer of musical input is going to be dropped in depending on certain circumstances. You go into combat, and a different like the combat layer is going to slide right into place. You cool. Go into, they were talking about Carfin. And how, if there's a certain person present, I think probably one of the boss lady people, I forget what her name was, but if she's present at Carfin, then there was going to be like her quote unquote voice layer was going to be input into the music. But if she's not present, it's going to disappear. It's not going to be there.
That's interesting. That's dynamic.
Yeah, very.
I'm incredibly interested in that.
Yeah,
music's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. I think.
Yeah, but it was. Oh man, I can't wait until they do like an actual music showcase, because that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think music is about as important as environmental sounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because there's a balance that has to be struck there. Otherwise, you're like me and you just start turning off music in games because you're like, this is overpowering everything else and I'm not enjoying it as much. But I think done right, it's really nice, and it can really enhance an area or an experience. Like when people play Final Fantasy XIV, there's certain boss battle music that you're like, oh my gosh, that's that boss battle. Like it's just iconic for that. But you know what that brings me to mind, Vertec, is bardcore. Like, how are you gonna know if it's that city? All the cities are different in every server. Okay, but like you have the Beyonce song, and then you have the bardcore Beyonce song, and then you have this other person who's covering Beyonce's song. It's all Beyonce's song. You still know it's Beyonce's song.
Yeah.
But I like
the right
that.
music for a boss fight. It's just iconic. Like if you got like this opera style, it's always like an opera style fast-paced song, you're fighting the final boss, and it's just like, it just makes the moment seem so crazy. If you did that same fight and you put like a Britney Spears track over it, it wouldn't feel as cool. It just would not be, you just wouldn't be as immersed. It wouldn't feel epic. You'd be like, oh, all right, well, this is happening, I guess.
Yeah. With World of Warcraft. With World of Warcraft, I try going through like the dungeons and the raids the first time with the game sounds on, and then after a while when it just becomes a back burner and I know what I'm doing and it's just rotation and I'm like, okay, duck this, move over here, then I put on my own music. But another thing that's kind of related with music is AI and voice AI, and this is a topic that I've seen come up over the years, especially since voice AI has been kind of more, I guess, common. And that's people talking about, will Intrepid use voice AI for their quest lines if they're not going to get hired actors? And things like that. And, how will there be like vocalizing of things? So Alexia.
I just heard that.
But like, what are your thoughts? Because this is something that's been going around a couple of times in the community, but with the voice AI for quest lines or dialogue boxes, etc.
I think it's a good thought. Ash just has so much going on already. I do not want them to even start considering that. Yeah. To put the timetable back even further. Also, that's a huge QA tackle, quality assurance, like someone going through making sure the AI translated all this stuff right. so many NPCs across so many different servers, so many different quest lines. That sounds like a lot. I personally would be fine with just text boxes. Just give me a text box to read. That's fine to me. The Elder Scrolls Online has been like hyped up so much because it is one of those MMOs. Like it's actually crazy when you think about it, how there's so many NPCs. I can't even give you like a hyperbolic number, because I feel like even that number I'd still be selling it short as far as how much NPC dialogue there is. And it's all voice acted. Like there's no like just straight up reading. For Ashes, I feel like it'll be fine. I just think it'll be fine with a text box. I feel like AI could make let's just assume that AI does it all right. I don't know. I think you maybe get on a slippery slope after it. I don't know. Maybe he's like, okay, well, let's do it for this, let's do it for that, and it doesn't feel. Basically, I think if someone it may break some people's role play factor. Like they want to give that character voice. That's what it is in your head. You know, me and Vertec can read the same book, but I pictured that character different, or that character's voice was deeper, or I pictured it with a monster's voice. You know, the bad guy. So there's that benefit from just not touching the voicing at all.
Right.
And it also kind of leans back into that. I've never done tabletop stuff, but like it also kind of leans back into like letting everybody that stuff you just got to read, right? So you kind of just let it be, and I think that's what it'll let the player do.
And I felt pretty similarly on that, and it looks like Phoenix does too. Vertec?
I might have a controversial opinion in this. I don't know. We'll see. But
I disagree with it.
I knew you would, you rascal. But no, I think that a lot of people who say that they're going to be perfectly okay if everything is just text box is going to feel really weird after a certain amount of time in the game, because every other game out there, if you really think about it, every single other game out there that I remember playing for the past like 5 years has had voice acting to some degree. Now, I would probably push that to even the past 10 years, but I can't remember every little small game I've played in that time. But every single one of them, definitely for the past like five years, has had some kind of voice acting. Now, whether that voice acting is limited to, hello there, hi, oh, welcome, and then a text box pops up, but then there's a cutscene and they actually have voice acting in a cutscene. Cutscenes are going to be manga pages, basically, is what they're going to almost have to be. And I don't know how they're planning on tackling cutscenes and things like that, or if they're planning on doing any of those whatsoever, or if it's going to be full like real-time activity and no cutscenes whatsoever. But then also cinematics are going to be interesting. If they're planning on doing any cinematics. So I'm almost thinking, combined with what D4 Phoenix was saying there, because that came to my mind before too, because I've thought about this for a while. Like because I originally thought like I'll be perfectly fine without any voice acting. I'm okay with it, just fine. But then the more I thought about it, the more I figured, it's gonna be really weird. But I think Ashes is actually a perfect example of a use case where AI would be absolutely perfect, because just any situation that could come up randomly in any of the node changes, or whenever they decide to change something on the fly, they could pump the script through, make sure the first person who pumps it through thinks it sounds good, make sure the next person thinks it sounds good, the person plopping it in the game, in that scene right there in the testing background, they think it fits the scene in there really well, it doesn't sound robotic, cool, we're good.
Yeah.
Because those three things need to be done anyway. There's got to be somebody checking the voice after it's recorded, somebody else doing like a double QA check, and then somebody else actually dropping it in the game somewhere when the queue pops and make sure it times out right.
I like that. I definitely want voice acting. Like I want the boss to talk. I love hearing audio cues. Like a boss says a certain line before she does a certain attack, or this boss says this before his AoE, or talks crap about you the whole time. Like stuff like that's good. But like with but with as big as Fair is going to be, I gotta wonder how big of a project that'd be. But to be fair, I'm not exactly the most hip on AI technology and how easy it is. Because in theory, the way I would imagine it work, maybe it's not as tough of a thing to tackle. Like, let's say they do AI generated voice for this character that speaks during this quest line. And if AI could really make that voice unique and that every line has that same voice, and then boom, do that for that character, then it can grant an RNG another voice for this one, and that one carries. But it just seems like as big as the world is, it'll be tough. But then again, I mean, I suppose it's possible. I think I'm only approaching it from the mindset like, don't add anything else. We're already waiting long enough. I think that's it. But if they were to implement it, of course I'd be happy. I'll admit that. I'll be happy if they. I love voice acting over reading something, personally. But yeah, it's a. I wonder if it's a slippery slope. But hey.
Yeah. I think honestly, was it Guild Wars that does? I mean, they have the cutscenes that are voice acted.
Yeah, they got
right?
the cuts. Yeah, they do cutscenes and voice acting. Yeah,
I think they have it to where when you go to start talking to a character, even for a quest, they'll say like a sentence or like a quick couple words, but then the rest is all text.
Yeah,
but at least it's a hey, glad you finally made it. But then they have like the 2 paragraphs worth of talking that you click through and read what's going on.
Yeah. Guild Wars 2. I like me some Guild Wars 2.
It's great. They just need to update the graphics, and it might loop some people back in because their systems, I think, are amazing.
Yeah, that was. I don't want to jump back into the world event conversation, but that's probably the most fun I've had on Guild Wars 2. I haven't even done a dungeon. I literally just do all the open world stuff, and I remember first starting and some world event popped up. It was just a really good time. Really good time. I like that game. Just the questing and everything, unique mechanics.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of really interesting things that each game that I've played has done different from each other. But then there's always that, oh man, I wish I could find a game that does X, Y, or Z.
Yeah. They don't do them all, but you got something that does this great, but this one does this better, but this one has this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like Ash is just taking the best parts of every current or past MMO for the most part. I mean, you're not going to agree with everything because maybe they took something that you didn't like in, let's say, WoW or something, but it seems like they're taking the best part of each game.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, you.
Mm-mm. Just go.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're taking the best parts of the best games and adding their own little flavor in there, and then kind of tweaking things to make it all work in an Ash's type of framework, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And it feels nice because even if some game hadn't done it first, a lot of that stuff are things that have been on gamers' wishes for a while. Or like they're iconic now on just how they function.
Yeah, I think that Ashes feels like they're trying to look at what other things that other MMOs are doing, and just try to make it either more unique or improve upon it.
Yeah, they say that a lot, actually. They say like, whenever they ask for feedback on something, I think even recently, what was the thing they were asking for feedback on? There are those dev discussions, like, they always ask, what MMO did you play or what game did you play that did this right and how they do it? They say something like that all the time. So they definitely want to know, like, instead of, obviously they want your feedback in general, but they always ask that, like, what game do you feel did it the best? Not to copy it one for one, obviously, but they're like, all right, so this is what resonates with people. Yeah,
like, why do you think that game did it the best? I mean, that kind of gives me a little bit into, I haven't ever played Lineage or ArcAge or any of those things that Ashes claims to draw upon.
Yeah.
But there's this topic here from the forums from Hazard number 7 talking about bags and interaction speed. And I guess that has to do with looting and being respawned. But Nick R responds, random respawn only happens for red deaths. Other players will respawn at the nearest point. I kind of like that because in World of Warcraft, if somebody were to like gank you, they would respawn at the nearest point, same as you. And sometimes they would just continue ganking you there too. If like your friends came and got you, except for like the increased number of res sickness. And Nick continues on, we don't currently know where these points will be or how close or far they'll be from potential points of interest for players. But in theory, if you die 10 seconds away from a respawn point, you'll be able to run back super fast and essentially loot, I think, yourself to keep your stuff. And I know that with Ashes being more focused on like ground travel versus flying or anything like that, it's going to take a bit of time. So if you end up getting the nearest respawn from somebody and that person ends up getting like a further respawn, you have a better chance of getting closer to your body, I think, and getting back to your body quickly.
Yeah.
But basically, Steven says, had said something along the lines of giving you time to reach it and take back your belongings because I think having that chance is something that I enjoy more than not having that chance. I just assume somebody would probably just, you know, maybe use a mob to kill you or something and then take it.
Yeah. I think that's something I hadn't... I discussed this when I did a video on the inventory system itself, because at first, I, like most people, was like, oh, that's just something different for the sake of being different, like almost tedious the way they got the Tetris style. But I was like, it adds a gameplay layer, but maybe it's not necessary. And then when Steven said on that podcast where he was like, basically explained the PvP implications of it, or like why this is a good thing. So basically someone just can't gank you and just pick up all your stuff. Like if they don't have a bag, if they caught you chopping trees and you've been harvesting for 2 hours, they can't just pick all that up if they don't have like the proper bag for lumber. And then if it takes a lot of time to loot, like you said, that gives you time to get back there. And it's actually a great thing for balance and anti-PK measures. That's a thing. And I hadn't considered that. I was like, oh yeah, that now I'm all behind it. I like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna force run a 1 minute ad just to turn off ads for a little bit for pre-roll. Right now pre-rolls are on, but I think if I run a 1 minute ad, it will push any other ads back.
Push them back for a little bit, yeah, because we got about, what, 20 minutes left for our time ticks out.
Yeah. So just heads up, but if you are a Twitch subscriber, you're not going to see any ads. And those of you on YouTube later, you're not going to see any ads either.
Or will you? Boom,
or will you?
No.
Not if I can help it. I don't like ads. Hi, Arcadely. Vocals. Hello, welcome in. Arcadely? I don't know how to say your name.
Volkov? That's how I'm going to pretend it's pronounced.
You say that 5 times. Say that 5 times real fast.
Oh my gosh!
D2.
Phoenix!
Thank you so much.
Thank you!
Oh wow, Phoenix, thank you.
Oh my gosh. I appreciate you so much.
Throwing up the ad shields. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Very much appreciated, friend.
He said, ain't no ads. No one got ads.
Rating. Was it a buff against the boss?
Yeah, ad boss buff.
Ad boss buff. I love it. Thank you so very much.
Here we go.
Where does that put us? That meets our goal, I think. No, that was... Hold on.
We're almost at that 40 goal.
We're almost at the 40 goal. Okay.
All right,
that's awesome.
We got to chug for that one. We got to do a drink for that one.
Yeah.
Almost means
cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Ah, was a good drink. We heal these. Yes.
Yeah, we are
by the
2
way-
away from unlocking Discord poll for what we're going to pick up for our IRL Halloween costume for the charity stream.
So you guys already unlocked us doing an IRL costume. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
What?
I appreciate you. Cheers.
Holy cow.
And the hype train. Oh my gosh.
I have traded bound. Oh,
Great, now
thank
we
you
got
so
a
much.
drink again.
Oh my gosh.
Now we got a drink again.
Phoenix. Might as well. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on.
Ooh,
5. What?
that's now
Another-
at 46 out of 40.
Oh my gosh.
So that actually
Okay.
puts us almost at the 50 goal.
Yeah.
So we
which
almost
is
have to get our VTubers some Halloween costumes.
VTuber Halloween costumes, yes. And at 60, I played my first ever Dark Souls game. I've never played it, and we've been going back and
Ooh.
forth on what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And did you pick out one yet, or are you still deciding?
Oh man, I don't know. Oh, nice. Have you played very many of the Souls-like games?
I only played Elden Ring.
Okay.
I've
Okay. So
I've only seen a clip of Elden Ring, and that's when some girl was talking about how something was easy, and then the dragon killed her right after.
I highly recommend Elden Ring. It's I highly recommend it. That'll be
Thank
fun.
you.
because I think right now it's going to be caught between Dark Souls, because I mean, if everything's going to be Souls-like, you kind of have to play the original at some point, right?
Exactly.
Or Elden Ring or Code Vein.
Good thing. Alexia, thank you for the cheers. Actually,
Thank
I am
you.
working on something behind the scenes, and I'm gonna get Vertex computer set up for it. But a little bit more interactivity for these things. So thank you so
Yeah.
much.
More
I
interesting
can
stuff
just do
happening.
the cheers. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just wasn't sure what to do. And Deeport, thank you for the sub. Phoenix was like, wait, after all that, I'm not even subbed.
The random didn't even catch you. Goodness.
Oh my
that's
gosh.
crazy.
Can it even get you? Like the random?
I would think
I
it
don't
would
know.
exclude you if you're trying to send out a random, right?
True. Yeah, that's fair. Also, does my stuff come across on your screen if I put stuff on me? Because we hit level 5 on the hype chain. I'm
Maybe.
gonna put some stuff on. Okay.
I think so.
I always put the bread on me, so I'm gonna put the bread on.
On with the bread.
Bread on the head.
But yeah, no, Code Vein is similar to, I'm not sure if you've bumped into that one, but it's similar to like a Dark Souls like game. But it's anime theme. And apparently it's harder than Elden Ring.
Oh wow,
Whatever that means.
that says a lot.
Yeah.
All I know is Vertex said it was co-op capable as well, so I could eventually play with him as well.
Oh,
Yeah, so I could go in there and help her out if need be too.
gotta carry
Yeah.
Vertec. I feel it.
Yeah. Hey, I need assistance at all times. If
All
I
the
don't
time.
have a helper, I'm in trouble.
I'm trying to figure out what else I can put on. I don't have any of the Halloween stuff in here yet.
Speaking of helper and such, or what roles are you guys gonna? You think? I mean, it's early, but what roles do you guys see that you can play? Or
Oh no, it's not early. I already know.
Yeah, we already know.
So I'm playing cleric. I like to play support typically.
Nice.
What flavor of cleric? That's the thing I gotta figure out.
okay,
I'm kind of the same thing. I'm going to be a tank. I'm going to play every flavor of tank I can possibly manage during the alpha to make sure they all get tested out.
yes. I
Listen,
like it.
everybody, tanks are going to be polished to perfection because I'm going to find all the bugs and all the issues during Alpha 2, okay? Just letting you know. Tanks out there, I got you.
I go through a couple. Like tank is the thing I want to test the most. Like I'm with you. I want to test, make sure it's fine. I also want to test it for a PvP standpoint. Like I want to see how much damage, because they say just like how they showed the cleric as a healer role in the last stream. They said that it can be made for a damage roll. I want to test the tank, and they said you can do it if you spec for it. So I want to test the tank for a see how damaging. Obviously, a tank shouldn't have as much damage as like a pure rogue or something, right? But I want to see how I can do that. Like, do I go, because going tank fighter or fighter tank is something I'm leaning towards. But if not that, then I'm looking at ranger. But if I could do fighter tank, which is dreadnought, and I think tank fighter, which is a knight. Tank fighter that's probably the one I'm going with. That tank fighter, that's what I think that's gonna be the first thing I roll, actually.
Nice. Tank fighter. That sounds fun. Sorry, I put my glasses on Vertex.
But near me at least. Here, I'll sit right here.
I can't pin things to you, but I can pin things to me. Thank you for the hype train. Appreciate it. The thing that Vertec wanted me to try was cleric rogue. Because I usually go running away when I'm healing and something tries to attack me. So that made me wonder, like, is there going to be a such thing as like a shadow step? Because, you know, rogues are something that, you know, are built for shadows, and I think they said anything that is an archetype of rogue has something to do with like the shadowiness of it. So I was imagining just being a cleric and then shadow stepping away from like the creatures or enemy that's trying to attack me.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how the augment system actually like works, or their approach on it. I know they speak about it, but it's usually pretty broad. Like, I wonder if you like could use let's say the cleric can summon like a holy spear and launch it at an enemy. Like, so you're healing and an enemy gets too close, they're trying to focus out the healer. You throw this holy javelin at them, which knocks them back, and you take the stealth, the rogue augment. And so maybe now it's not like yellow like the typical holy spear. So maybe it's like a shadow spear. And if you hit your target, like they don't dodge it, you get 3 seconds of invisibility or something like that. See, that's how I hope it works. I think that'll be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Tango, welcome in.
Hey, Tango.
We were saying we were getting close to our 40 goal, and now we're close to our 50 goal. But yeah, no, I tend to play support as much as I possibly can. But I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous of how my Dark Souls game situation's gonna go, because
y'all gotta hit me up when y'all do it, because that's gonna be pure entertainment.
It'll be during the charity stream. So I also promised that I was gonna put my IRL cam on so you guys can watch me react a little bit better than my VTuber.
Actual face, because she's very expressive. So
yes,
that'd be fun. Seeing the scare faces.
Yes. I'm very excited.
Just a heads up, I am a Dead by Daylight sweat. Like,
okay.
Like, hey, were we planning on doing DBD?
Yes, we were.
Yes. Random fun fact, like, I watch more Dead by Daylight content than any other game.
I like Dead by Daylight.
I love it.
I didn't like it when I first tried it.
Oh yeah, I haven't played it in months, but like I keep up with it a lot, and I used to be a sweat. Oh my gosh! But I switched platforms, like, because I used to play on my PlayStation, and the accounts don't transfer, and so I lost all my DLC and everything like that.
Oh no!
Yeah, I had to start over on PC. So yeah.
A group of friends and I sweat from time to time. I feel that. No, I love it. I have so much fun. I just don't have as much fun when the killer focuses people. That's a little bit less fun. Yeah. But it's really fun when it's really fun when you do get like a good person though to be killer. Like I had one time I was playing, I wish I was streaming or at least recording it. I was playing Peekaboo with
No, that was so much fun.
I wish I had that recorded. That was so fun. But have you heard the TikTok sound with the parrot going Pika Peekaboo? I play Pika Peekaboo, and she's like, no Peekaboo.
Yeah.
So I just had that in my head while we were playing Peekaboo, because he's playing Peekaboo behind like a haystack, and I was playing Peekaboo from behind like I think a giant tire or something. There
was a Ghostface playing Ghostface. Like, seriously, like hiding behind a stack of hay, and then like just jumping out and looking at you and hiding back behind it, and, like picking out the side of it and then hiding back behind it.
That's funny. I love those
there for like
moments.
It must have been 5 minutes. great.
Yeah.
I'm just playing peekaboo with Ghostface.
Like if I ever play like killer, there's sometimes I'd be like, I like once I know like, okay, I got this win, like I'm not gonna go sweat it out and hook it, like just start playing around, have some fun.
Yeah. Like, there was a group of friends that I was playing it with for a minute, and they're like, "Oh, if you get the pighead girl, you have to boop the snoot."
Yes, it's the rules. It's the rules.
Yeah, I've always had a rule of I gotta try and hook everybody at least once before I hook anybody twice, and the same thing, I gotta hook everybody twice before anybody gets a third hook.
I like that.
I usually lose because of it, but I don't care. I have fun with it, so
Yeah.
You get
So
no
when
complaints
I win.
afterwards. Yeah, because like when people lose, at least they could say, "Oh, I got my," they were in the match for a long time, didn't get focused out.
Yeah. Oi. But yeah, I completely forgot that we'd actually scheduled that. It's been a week, let me tell you. Work has drained my brain power.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it for sure. So that being just about wrap up time,
Oh yeah.
Mr. Nyce. Oh, did you have something?
Just the announcement before we do the wrap up.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Go for it.
So
Announcement.
Vladis isn't live, but usually he's going to be live starting at 8, which is about 30 minutes ago almost. So we will try to keep closer to the 1 hour 15 as much as possible. And I gave birth to cat ears. but
I'll try and stick really still so they stay there.
I appreciate that. But we're going to be on Tangents of Creation in about half an hour from now.
Nice.
With our IRL faces. And we're going to be talking about some really fun topics, such as our different versions of gameplay, PvE, PvP, things like that. Because I'm more casual when it comes to certain ways of playing, but I'm also more focused when it comes to certain ways of playing than he is. So, like, I want to get a quest line done. He wants to go explore everything. So I think that'll be really fun. But
I'll be you guys' PvP guy.
Perfect.
All right.
Yes, I'm gonna need that because I actually pulled it up as a conversation, but I'm very bad at PvP. I don't have very much fun with it, but I'm interested in trying more. But
That's like my whole channel is outnumbered PvP.
having a PvP friend definitely makes the world go round.
It's true.
That's my thrill. Like 5 people chasing me and I kill all 5 of them. Like, oh, there's just no better thrill for me.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you the link, but I'm also gonna shout them out just so that you guys can go follow. Did you do it
The
too?
timing, yeah, the exact same time.
Oh my gosh,
funny.
that's hilarious. But yeah, no, I have some friends that are really into PvP, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna try. Does that work? Yes, there we go.
Hoo-ha.
Double link, triple link, ha ha ha.
But yeah, going forward, we're going to see if we can try and keep it down to about 1 hour just so that we can raid everybody right over to Vladis, because Vladis is amazing, and we got to support Team
Shout out
Ashes.
to Gladys.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
for
more
now,
importantly, yes.
and today,
And
the focus,
today
my friend, is you.
is our guest.
Yes.
So, do you have anything upcoming that you want to shout out? I've got your links up there. Is there anything you want to draw attention to?
No, not really.
Any new
I'm here
videos in the works?
Nope,
Keep
I'm
an
just
eye
here
out.
for you guys. Don't want to
Okay.
talk about me.
Well, we're here for you.
The channel's there. I just uploaded a video yesterday. I try to do at least one Ashes video a week. So
There you go.
yeah, just here for you guys.
Yeah. So there you guys go. Go check out our friend, because I've been wanting to have you on since I first saw you, and we didn't work out very well.
Timing is a pain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I randomly hit her. I was like, I'm gonna make a Friday work this month. I'm gonna do it.
And this is the 1 month where we actually have the charity stream, so like a Saturday would have worked.
Nice.
If Saturdays work for you, I don't know.
One exact Saturday this entire year.
One
would've
exact
worked.
Saturday
Yeah.
this entire year, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But No, definitely really appreciate watching your videos. I like listening to them on my downtime or like when I'm working. It's just I like hearing people's perspectives. So also if you like other games like Guild Wars and New World, and what I think Elder Scrolls is also on your New World, Elder Scrolls and more, like check out Nyce's channel, give him a follow, check out his podcast. I know I'm going to be doing that. So,
oh, you know what? We gotta get you guys on the podcast. No time soon. It's a busy month, I'm sure, for you guys. But that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to.
Yes, I'm very excited for that too. Nuclear wants to know if you think it's worth getting into New World.
Yes, it's going to be my Ashes of Creation waiting room. Like this new expansion, it's my favorite game out right now, and I feel weird saying that because thing is, I did a review for New World recently. I hate talking about myself. I'm sorry.
No, you're here to talk about yourself. It's fine.
But I did a New World video, like, should you play New World in 2023? So if you just want to look at that video, like, because I played New World starting, literally, it's been a year. It's been exactly a year and a week, essentially. So, like, this wasn't like, you see a lot of MMO YouTubers or whatever, they pick up a game, play it, No, I put a year into this game before I reviewed it. And short answer is yes, you should play it. But this expansion, not to sound like a cliche video title, but it changed everything, and I am having so much fun. Like I really am.
Was that real-time clickbait? Was that real-time clickbait? Is that what I heard?
Real-time clickbait. I came up with the title off the top of my head. No one's ever done
it. There you
go. But yeah, it had a horrible launch, and that's something I speak of in that video. Like I don't sugarcoat anything, and I was like, yeah, I'm so glad I missed launch. I didn't start playing until a year ago because it was a horrible game. But man, now, yeah, definitely worth it.
All right.
There you go. And do you do guides? I think you do guides, or is this mainly news updates?
Mainly news updates and PvP videos. Okay.
So if you're looking for New World news updates and PvP videos, Nyce is your guy. I hear he's a nice guy.
This is true.
That's true.
Even to the people I PvP.
Yeah.
You do the bow, the touch sword tips before you start swinging.
It's tradition. It's tradition.
Nice.
No teabagging after I kill everybody. Just like, hey,
just loot and run.
Yeah. I just do it and then I upload it.
Fantastic.
Sounds like one of our friends that joined us for Alpha 1.
Mm-hmm.
We kept dying and he kept looting our bodies and then eventually gave me all the stuff he looted off my body.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's like, here, I got some stuff. And I was like, what, off of me?
I'll sell this back to you.
Well, at least you didn't do that. There's at least that. Was that's not funny. Sold back to me.
But yeah, it's been amazing talking to you guys. This was fun. You guys taught me something. You guys taught me that it is possible not to have a 2.5 hour podcast.
It is.
I think it's mainly because I keep things moving.
I love it. I need a moderator. I
could be like, okay, next topic. Nice, next topic.
There was one episode of our podcast a couple weeks ago. It hit the 2 hour mark. I was like, all right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up there. And someone in chat brought up like a really interesting tangent. I ended it at 2.5 hours. It's like, God dang. But it's fun, right? Like the talks are so fun.
Yeah,
we've been all over the place. We tried to keep it at like 45 minutes one time, so it'd be like, the drive to work time frame type of thing.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out. It felt too compressed, and then we're like, okay, well, let's go with like 1 hour, and then it just developed into an hour-ish, and then an hour and a half, and now we're like trying to rein it back in. Like, okay, that might be a little bit too long now. Let's start to bring it back.
Yeah, we were also thinking if Vladis, like for this week, Vladis isn't live, for example. So we were thinking if we might do like the end of our podcast and then hang out a little longer and then raid out to somebody if we're feeling chatty. But at least the podcast segment is done so that can be finished. And this is the bonus content kind of thing.
There we go. Did they go live yet?
No, unfortunately, I don't think so. I was thinking of holding out for them. If you guys want, we could totally hang out at the end screen while waiting to raid over. Just give you guys some music to listen to. The Tangents of Creation waiting room, if you will.
Nice. I thought I was following them already. Do they have a different one, or is it always on the Jamie one?
It's usually on Jamie's, and then Jamie does a guest star thing now, where he will invite you through Twitch's guest star system to join the podcast, and I think that's really cool. We tried that.
Wait, are you guys gonna kidnap me to there with you?
I wish.
You're in our portal now.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. But
the sorcerer forced me through a portal against my will. I like it here, but I didn't consent to it.
Now I'm just imagining the influencer of Vera walking around with a little handheld portal, just showing somebody the world around them through the portal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love it. But shall we just go to the end screen and let them have some waiting room music while we swap over?
I could totally do that. If you folks feel like hanging out, that'd be great. It's going to be probably around 20 minutes or so before they really kick it off. Maybe 10 minutes, and then they'll have their little waiting screen up, and we'll read over to that.
Yeah.
But it'll be hanging out here. We'll keep the playlist running, and
we got to take a portal to the real world, so we need to catch that before that closes.
Yeah. It's going to require a cam change. I got to do my makeup. All that fun stuff.
I'll be sure to tune in. I'll be listening and watching you guys while I do some farming on New World.
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
Hey, fantastic. All right, well, thank you everybody for stopping in, and thank you Tech Deck for the sub. Much appreciated at the last minute, right before we run out the door.
Yes,
and remind me, Tech Deck, I need to talk to you about Souls games stuff.
Ooh.
And getting Chibi into one in a very interesting situation, and what's going to be the best one, and how easily I can get into that situation to drop her into randomly without her knowledge.
We're getting... Oh no, not yes to that one. We're getting close enough to the alert though, so I'm nervous.
All right, so did you have anything you wanted to close out with there, Chibi, before I get us rolling over to the outro screen?
My closing is Nyce is a nice guy who does really awesome videos, and you should go watch him.
Oh, lordy. All right, well, let me do this one thing here real quick, because I forgot to bring in a scene to the outro, or else it was going to be the same song over and over. We don't want that.
Oh, no. That would be bad.
That would be terrible.
But also, I think the event system is gearing up to be quite unique, while also not all that unique at the same exact time.
Yeah.
So.
All right, there we go. So that's all set.
But for real, who's Nyce? Nyce is an awesome person that you should check out.
It's true. Just hit that exclamation mark guest. And you'll see information about our guest.
Yep.
And definitely check him out.
Thank y'all so much for having me.
Of
Thank
course.
you so
Thanks
much
for
hanging
coming
out.
on. Yeah.
Glorious conversationing happening here. And thank you for everybody hanging out with us, viewing, watching, chatting, talking, and my goodness, D4 and who okay, I gotta look back at the logs on everybody who did the sub thing and the follows, because you guys are great.
Also, Mahosa Van, welcome in. But yeah, it was Arkadly Volkov and Phoenix.
Thank you both. And thank you for the follows and such. You guys are amazing. Again, we really appreciate everything when it comes to the subs and all that. It's going to get us closer to getting some goals, because we do have some goals coming up here that are kind of super secret, but they're going to happen.
Yes.
But the greatest support you really can give us is just being here, existing, and talking with us. We love you for that.
I got to answer a question from chat.
Okay.
Ooh, do it.
So Snecker says, also, why do you have bread on the head? So obviously he hasn't read the wiki. So if you look up Ashes of Creation's lore, so when they first came to, I'm playing. I don't know why she has bread on the head. I've been wanting to ask the same thing.
It's a pirate thing.
I like to do silly stuff when we get to different tiers of the trains.
Nice.
Well, I just realized that the top half of my head is almost hidden by the by the champion of the hill.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's.
Oh, I just saw that.
Vertec is a giant behind a hill.
I'm gonna go ahead and do this thing here where I poke my head out and I unhide. Jeez. How far hidden am I? I'm very hidden.
Okay. But yes, no, some people were really awesome and got us almost to 50 subs by gifting a lot of awesome stubs. And so we got to a level 5 hype train also because Alexia gave us some cheers, some bits. And so I tried to put 5 things on the screen. Cat ears, glasses, bread.
You
And
guys should
I'm
have told
having
me.
to
I would
stay
have put something
perfectly
silly
still.
on my head. I
man.
see something silly.
You're gonna do it?
No one clip
Thinking
this.
about
I'll be right back. Just for the hype train. Only for you.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Hold on. I can't put my headset on, so I don't hear no one. One second.
Okay.
One second. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this.
All right. I love it.
Nice. Yay! I love it.
For the hype train.
I love it. It's perfect.
All right. Cheers
Right up
for
my
that.
alley. Yeah, cheers for that, indeed. Right up my
Fantastic. I love getting in the spirit, sir. I love it.
alley.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so yes, we're gonna actually get running away now because we have some prep to do before the stream over there, including getting in their call.
Yes.
So thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for chatting. Thank you so much for wearing silly hats with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's all fantastic and we love everything. We're going to, in case anybody showed up last minute like Sneckers
Thank
and missed
you.
it,
Cheers.
we're going to be going into a perpetual ending screen until we raid over to Tangents of Creation, who will be joining at 9 o'clock in like 15 minutes-ish.
Yes. I think they're starting their starting soon screen here shortly because I've already kind of poked them a little bit saying, hey.
Yeah.
Like we're buying time. Hurry up.
All right.
Yep.
So yeah, we're going to be in an
You know
ending
what?
screen.
Tell them that Nyce even put on a funny hat to buy time.
Okay,
Ooh,
I will.
See, there we go. Got you. We got you. So yeah, either way, we will be in an ending screen, but we're not actually ending. We are going to raid over to the next place we're going to be at.
Yep.
Until we see you next time.
See you IRL in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.